All right, guys, I got a box of gears. Gears are some of my favorite things, as many of you know. These are the gears out of a Rhino 450. I don't even need this, but it was a whole set for 40 bucks or something, so I bought it. This is your high, low, and reverse gears. This is actually a sprocket on the end for reverse. You can see the selector that goes between reverse and low. But what I'm interested in is this small gear. So this small gear right here and this big gear right here mesh together, and that's part of your secondary reduction after low range. This gear delivers power to this gear, which goes to the bevel gear, the 90-degree gear, which goes out to your drive shaft. So if you swap these two gears from a Rhino 450 into a 450 Kodiak or whatever, or Grizzly, it's about a 33% reduction, which actually gives you slightly lower gears than a Rhino 450 because the bevel gear in the four-wheelers is slightly lower. So should be a pretty good mod. You do have to split the cases to do it. And let me show you why I bought that. So those gears came in yesterday, and I picked this up this morning. Very good timing. This is I think it's like a 2006 Grizzly 450. And it's the same thing, same ATV I made that video about recently. It's kind of in rough shape. It's been parked outside most of its life, but I got it for $2,000, and it's got a lot of features that you don't really get on most four-wheelers. So the only Honda that has a front diff lock is the Rubicon, and also for independent suspension. That's what's in the garage in front of the YXZ, but those are about, you know, 8-9 grand. This is the only thing you can get for under 3 grand that's got independent suspension and front diff lock, and it's got a really good front diff lock. In my opinion, it's better than Honda's, and it definitely seems to be more waterproof. I had the same front diff on my Big Bear 400. Yes, it's a belt drive, but it's one of the better belt drives, an Ultramatic, made in Japan. That's important to know. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to snorkel because the belt exhaust comes out back here. That's the belt exhaust right there. The belt intake comes in through the front of the engine, right there, and then the engine intake is just like right there under the gas tank. So we're gonna try to find a good way to snorkel it today so we can take it out and mess with it tomorrow. One thing I don't like about it is see how far that wheel sits inside the fender. It's a very narrow, tiny, almost kid's four-wheeler. The suspension has not a lot of travel, very short stroke suspension, but I'm pretty sure I can throw the 38-inch Aztecs on it and it'll clear them. And this thing has really low gears already, so it should do fine with 28s, maybe even a 30. And when I put the gear reduction on it, it should be able to turn like a 33, I'm hoping. So it should be a fun little project. It is liquid cooled, which, you know, whatever, I don't care about. It's a 421 cc. You can see stamped on the engine right there. Whatever, it's not fast. It's a 2-valve per cylinder, so it's not like it's got any more power than a Rubicon. So a Rubicon is probably better than this power wise, and of course there's no belt, so it's obviously better than this. But this thing is cheap, and I have a lot of friends I take riding all the time. I put them on the Rubicon and they end up, you know, slamming the gears, not knowing how to shift it, being just general retards. So this is a lot more I don't know, girl friendly, because it's you know, automatic. But if I want to ride it, it's got diff lock and stuff. The wheelbase on it is really short and it's very narrow, but it does fit in the truck with the tailgate closed, which is, I haven't had that before that fits in the truck in a while. Obviously that won't fit anymore once I put it on big mud tires. But you can see in the front the tires aren't hitting, so maybe on 28s it'll fit. I doubt it. It's probably gonna be really close. But yeah, should be a pretty cool little project. The front arms are super short and baby. But you know, whatever. One thing I don't like about this machine, unlike the Grizzly, this thing has 4 U-joints. It's got 2 U-joints on both the drive shafts through the diffs. That's probably going to give me issues eventually. But other than that, you know, it's a Yamaha, so it should be pretty well engineered. So hopefully we'll get it snorkeled today and test it on the pond. And then we'll take it out to Holopal tomorrow. What the fuck is growing on these connectors? Oh, it's also carbureted, which kind of sucks. So the newer ones of these aren't carbureted. So carburetors, as you know, a lot of pain and water and stuff. This is a vacuum operated carburetor, so it's even more annoying. I'm probably going to delete that carburetor and put a 400X carburetor in here like I do with every single thing that's carbureted. So it's a pumper carb with a real mechanical slide linkage. But yeah, it should be good. So yeah, no one's going to care because no one likes little four-wheelers. I love little four-wheelers. You know, if manufacturers started putting some money back into four-wheelers, I'd be really happy, but all you guys keep buying side-by-sides, so they don't even bother making new four-wheelers but once every 10 years. Oh, Polaris, it's like once every 20 years. But anyways, yeah, so Should be a fun little project. In case anyone's curious, this spoiler hasn't changed much ever since it came out in like the early 2000s to now. A lot of the parts are the same parts. Yamaha's been pretty lazy. They did put fuel injection on it, but that's about it.